Speaking of Harlem, man, I was talking to my guy today, and I was like, as I'm getting into the fashion industry, I had to say to myself, like, what really moved me in a way that, you know, really impacted the way as I was growing.
Right.
Whether as a teenager, as a young adult, I was like, okay, I want to be that.
Right.
I seen that film, American Gangster.
Uh-huh.
And seeing Frank Lucas.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, bro, like this is the businessman. Granted, he was doing a lot of corrupt things,
right,
but at the same time, he was making money.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, for me, I was like, bro, I'm moved by that. Mm-hmm. To be able to look a certain type of way, feel a certain type of way, and me being raised in church,
right,
I always had a keen eye to suits, sport coats.
For sure.
I used to call it a jacket when before I even knew it was a sport coat.
Right,
you know
right,
what I'm saying?
right.
And being able to identify, like, that's what I think is cool. And as I grew old and when people started looking at me and start talking to them, like, bro, why you dressed like that? Or, you know, why this and why that? It's like, I feel comfortable in these type of clothes because the aesthetic that I seen growing up, like between my father or the people in the church, and then all of a sudden I started seeing, it's like, oh man, like these dudes back in the day in Harlem,
right,
the Dapper Dans, these dudes was putting on bell bottoms and Chelsea boots,
yes,
and really stepping. Like when, like I don't condone any type of domestic violence, but you know, pimps, like they would put it on.
I'm gonna tell you, and like where I live 1 block away from Dapper Dan's haberdashery. Man, me and Dapper Dan might just mess around and see each other in the morning, drinking coffee, drinking tea or whatever, and just sit around and just chop it up, man. Yeah. And he is still a fly dude. I was just in Harlem probably about a month ago having brunch with his wife and his daughter.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So man, like Dapper Dan's imprint in Harlem is untouchable.
Yeah.
And and Gucci is his is his haberdashery now.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are giving it up. It's funny because they're the same
no,
people trying to sue
it's
him.
not Gucci no more.
It was Gucci.
It's
what is it now?
Gap.
Oh, he got Gap now?
Gap.
Because it was Gucci 2 years ago.
Right.
Now it's Gap?
No, because he did the collab with Gucci.
Yeah.
And, you know, I heard his story too because I seen him. Where I'm at right now, bro, I feel like I'm so woke to understanding, like, you know, what my purpose is and what I need to do, you know, for my environment, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Now, the people who I come in contact with, I want to empower them in my own way, right? That's how we impact the world, you see what I'm saying? When I was talking to Dapper Dan, he was speaking on, like, bro, he was really the first one to take an idea because he didn't necessarily have the means to get the Gucci's or the Louis or the Fendi's or the things like that.
Right.
And he said, bro, I created my own lane.
He created his own lane.
He fucked around. It was almost like Dapper Dan was doing the clothes what Wayne was doing the mixtapes.
Dapper Dan was doing the clothes what black women were doing the soul food. You dig?
Dug it out.
You know, like, that's what he was doing.
Like,
give me a little piece of this.
You know,
and give me a piece of that,
and
I'll make it into art. Man, you see some of those. Some of those clothes with Eric B. and Rakim and Big Daddy Kane was wearing that stuff back in '87 to '88.
Yeah,
man, that stuff looks like couture.
Man,
you hear me?
Real talk.
Yeah, man.
So for him to be able to now go from a lawsuit from a company to a partnership with a company.
That's what tripped me up.
It was like, bro, like we need you. But more importantly, on the bigger stage, we need more people of color in positions of power because we infiltrate the world in a way that's unmatched. And it's sad because our people, and you see it all the time in the music, in the movie industry, where they take our stories, and they profit off of it because of, damn, you said what happened?
You know what? So this is what I'm gonna tell you. In the last 7 or 8 years, somebody asked me, like, well, what is the difference now than it was, say, 10 years ago? I said, we're telling our own stories instead of having people dictate what our stories are, and we're just the actors in them. You know, it's funny, me and you were talking earlier about The Blind Side, right?
Yes, sir.
And we're talking about Michael Oher,
Yes,
who's
sir.
whose story it is in The Blind Side. And I said, it tripped me out when the movie came out, you know, I was in the film.
Right.
And I said, wow, it's a cool movie. And when I read Michael Oher wasn't a fan of it, and we talked about it, and he said, nah, he really wasn't. And I said, well, you know what? But before I do any other story, I play anybody else in real life, I want to talk to the people who I'm portraying.
Yes, sir.
So when I did Selma, James Orange, may he rest in peace, he's not alive, but his daughter Juanita is. So I started talking to her, had a little relationship with her. Right. And then when she saw the movie, she said, you embodied my father. You know, when I did When They See Us, when I played Lumbe Braff, you know, Lumbe isn't here anymore. Talked to his son. He lives in Harlem. Yeah. We chopped it up. It's my guy. We live in, you know, around the corner from each other. He said, all right, beautiful, man. You played the spirit of my dad. I love that. Yeah. Same thing with James Cleveland's folks. Right. When they saw the Aretha miniseries, they were like, man, you embodied it. Because the thing about it, I want to tell the story from their perspective. Right. They know him better than I could ever know him.
So to that point, would you consider yourself a method actor?
I try, you know what? People who are method actors live in that all day. They live in it. They like go out to eat when we say cut, right. And they're not themselves. I try to, when I'm on set, I try to embody that spirit of whatever character I'm playing.
How do you get to that? Because an actor is an artist.
100%, yeah.
And it's one of the most purest forms of art because you're using yourself as the vessel.
100%, yes.
Damn, that's crazy.
Well, that's what it is, though.
That's crazy.
That's what it is. So, you know, I do my homework, man. If I'm playing a character, if I get something, if I get the material, when I get the material, I just start breaking it down for hours on end. I do all my homework before I get to set. When I get to set, like, it's just YouTube, if it's a fictional character, okay, I write my own history on that character, how that character grew up, where that character came from. Yeah. You know, where that character went to school, if that character went to a trade school, if the character went from, you know, high school or whatever and went straight into the workforce. Right. And then what was his loves of his life? What was the first love he ever had? What his grandma used to sing to him? What, you know, all of that type of stuff. So that's inside of me right before I walk on set. And when I walk on set, I can just embody that period. Boom, I'm right there with it. You know, but if I'm playing a non-fictional character, a real person, right. I do as much research, like you say, read as much as I can. Go on YouTube, watch the persons, watch their mannerisms. You know, why is his hand like that? Why is he moving like that? And what makes the body do that? Right. You know, I do all of that stuff before I even get to set. If I can do all of that, by the time they say action and the cameras are rolling, then I'm already in it, man. Yeah.